Hello and welcome to my Witchcraft and Spirituality channel. I'm Persephone and this is part 2 of the spells for absolute beginners. So we're going to discuss now, why isn't my spell working? A question that if you have done even one spell in your life at some point you wondered, and the things that could go wrong or the things that you need to try to succeed the next time. In general, I believe that when something isn't working, not only it's not a failure, but it could usually be your spirit guide or the universe gently pushing you to learn something more. Because I had used methods that they were working, after some point they stopped for some people, and then I had to upgrade my studying. So if the spell always worked, I would have remained stuck and I wouldn't have been here to help you today. So it could be a learning chance or a learning challenge. Don't let it bring you down. I'm going to start from the funniest and most possible explanation if you're doing cursing spells to narcissists. There is a pretty high chance the spell is working and the narcissist doesn't want you to know what is going on and they are faking. I'm going to use examples from my own life and my own witchcraft. Many years ago, I had a relationship with a Japanese guy who had a Russian ex-girlfriend that she never left him alone during our relationship. Now I see that they were both very trashy people. They were both psychic parasites, extremely low energetically, and narcissists. But during that time I couldn't see it. And there was a time when I was really fed up with this situation. So I asked her to talk to me online and we had a video chat on Skype. And I told her, you know, if this man is that important to you that you constantly need to message him, to like every one of his pictures on Facebook and so on, you can tell me and I'm going to back off. I mean, I liked the guy, but it wasn't the kind of soulmate relationship, you know? It was just my boyfriend at the time. So I told her, I don't want this much drama and I want you to make a decision because this is bringing me down. This is so negative. And she told me a bunch of lies and she said, no, it's okay. I'm just going to stop messaging him. We were just friends and I'm going to stop bothering him, and I didn't realize it bothered you that much, and we ended the video chat. And then I realized that not only she didn't stop, she had just become sneakier about it, and he was also encouraging that. So what happened is that I was so angry that day, and I said I cursed this woman to die alone and to never have a boyfriend again for humiliating me. And I'm going to tell you guys, I deeply regret that curse because I'm going to explain to you why, but the curse worked. It has been 9 years. The woman has never had a boyfriend since, and she's looking so old and decrepit. And I believe I added an extreme amount of bad karma to my karma for someone that was, in the long scheme of things, irrelevant. But here is what happened. After I cursed her like that, we broke up with my boyfriend for unrelated reasons like a couple of months later. And then literally 1 hour after the breakup, he had actually added her on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere in public, and he had actually bought plane tickets for her to go visit him in Japan. And if I tell you that I was like a banshee or a succubus incarnated, it would be very close to true. I was so mad. I was thinking, what kind of spiritual protection does this woman have? And the curse isn't working. I was stalking their Instagram and she had all of these pictures from Japan, and imagine that this was the trip that I was supposed to go to, and she actually took my place after lying to my face and humiliating me. So I was very mad, and I did a couple of other spells too, and I felt that they didn't work either. And after that, life happened, so I had to distract myself with something else. And here is what I learned, that when I did the spells and she went there, they had the most terrible time. He started treating her like with absolute contempt because I told him he was a psychic parasite and a bad man. And these people, even if they blast their amazing life everywhere for the world to see, it doesn't matter that what you see, it's all a bullshit, it's all a lie. She was trying to have sex with him and he became sexually averse to her, and she was whining about it. And long story short, he imposed some extremely crazy demand on her, and he said that she has to go to Japan permanently when she was living in Russia and become a Buddhist and start working to financially support his career, that he wanted to transition careers. And he said no, and he practically left her at the airport at the middle of the trip and then dumped her with a text message. When she was in the airplane and supposedly they were still a couple, he sent her a text message saying that I never want to see you again and I regret getting back together with you. Now you're going to say, Persephone, how did you know all of that stuff? Like, what kind of investigation you did? Nothing. She actually reached out to me after that and she told me herself. That's why I'm sure, because she was very bitter and she wanted to see if he had treated me better than her. And the problem is that by that time I had already cursed her, and like I said, it has been 9 years and she's still single and she's posting depressive stuff on Instagram and she's saying she wants to get married but she can't find any boyfriend. So the question is, can you reverse the curse? No. I've tried, it's not possible. It was one of those things that happened because I had so much like anger and hatred inside me. So you have to be careful with that stuff. My point is, if you're watching this and you are going to be cursing a narcissist, there is a pretty high chance your spell is working just fine. Just give it time and the information is going to fall into your lap. Narcissists live for their image. So even when this man's relationship was going terrible and her relationship was going terrible, they were still posting in Japan like they were crazily in love. So if your narcissist left you for some other woman, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. If he treated you horribly, he can't keep the mask of a good boyfriend or a good husband for long. C is next. Reason number 2, the spell isn't working. The person is also knowledgeable in witchcraft and they have very high defense and protection against themselves. This is something that there are people who practice witchcraft that before I met them, it would never have crossed my mind that these people know how to cleanse their aura or how to protect their house, or people who have even done contracts with demons and angels. So there is a chance you are going against a very strong person. In that case, you're not doomed at all. It just means you need to get stronger too to face that person. Look for signs of witchcraft in that person's life. What colors they have in their house, what clothes they wear, what jewelry they wear, what kind of forums they follow. Do some stalking/investigation. In many cases, you may be extremely surprised. If nothing comes out of it, check their environment. I know people that their mother was a witch and she would place protective amulets in their school bags and stuff like that. And these kids were like super protected. Nothing bad ever happened to them in school. Evil eye didn't work on them and so on. So that is, again, the universe throwing you the ball to tell you that you need to level up. Nothing wrong with that. You practice. We're going to explain, so subscribe to the channel, how you can get stronger spiritually, and you give it time. Reason number 3. The spell didn't work because your intention was not 100% consistent. Like, there are people who say, I want to curse someone, but right before that curse, they get cold feet. It can happen. It's not a bad thing. Or there are people who do a love spell and then they start thinking, do I really want this? This happens very often when we are infatuated with someone and we do a love spell, and then we learn something about them that is a huge turn off. So we start thinking of, maybe this person isn't my soulmate after all. Maybe this person isn't meant to be after all. And we are not 100% there in terms of intention. So if this happens and it didn't work, that's okay. You try again. There is also a lot of brainwashing. We all, most of us, grew up brainwashed to think that it's bad to curse, it's bad to be angry, it's bad to try to harm someone. I don't think there is anything wrong with self-defense. I don't believe in going after people because you're just envious of them or because you have nothing better to do and you're a troll online. But when it comes to people who are actively abusing you, you have every right to protect yourself. You have the right and the gifts to be on this planet the same as everyone else. So why should a narcissist harm you and harm you and harm you and get away with it? And also, if we see it in terms of past lives and karma, if you met this person in a past life, because I'm a believer of reincarnation, and they were a bad person back then in that life, and you reincarnate with them in this life, it's because they have a lesson to learn too. And that's how a narcissist starts with one victim and ends up with 300. Because we are taught that we should always forgive and forget, even if the other person was not remorseful at all, and even if the other person is still going after us. That's a lie. There are ways to enforce consequences that there could even be a wake-up call, even for narcissists, if done correctly. So don't let anyone shame you for not being this sheep or this doormat, allowing everyone to just walk all over you and harm you. But because this is something that we have been told ever since children, it takes time to get out of this brainwashing. I would say when nothing works, focus on yourself and look at what you can do better or different in a positive light. Case number 4. It doesn't work because you are the one who is cursed. There are people who have been cursed from previous lives to have their spiritual power sealed. Or there are people who have been cursed to meet many narcissists and many emotional vampires. So if you carry this type of curse or negativity, these vampires around you are going to drain all of your energy, and your intention is not going to be strong, and your spells will not manifest. So if you watch this video and you are surrounded by more than 2 known toxic people in this lifetime, time to stop all spells and focus on how you are going to eliminate the curses. Because the curse is what is actually stopping your energy. Imagine your energy flowing like water and someone has a barrier that stops the river from ending into the sea. The intention is the river, and the sea is the end result of the spell. If you don't get rid of that barrier, you can try and try and try and nothing will change. That is also extremely common. And it could be common that you could have a generational curse, someone cursed your ancestor and it manifests on you, because usually spiritual power is being passed down. And if you had an ancestor that was very strong spiritually or did bad witchcraft and someone got harmed, they even cursed them to lose their power and for all of the descendants to lose their power. So there could be many different reasons. I would say just listen to the information and don't try to dwell too much on what is going wrong. Usually if you start listening to your intuition, you will know deep down. But even if you say, okay, I'm totally new to this, I don't know, the vampires, the energy parasites, and the people who curse you have to go. This is something that it's the basis of all the foundation that I'm teaching, because I've been a person that I realize I have so many curses on me, and ever since I realized it and I started working on it, the results are beyond psychiatry, science, psychology, and so on. Because there are people who told me, why did you get into this? Because I spent so much time of my life trying everything I could, and at some point I realized that even psychology and psychiatry could only get you this far. That I found articles, for example, on Psychology Today, if you want to check it with your own eyes, they believe that people who drain you exist, that people who are emotional vampires exist, but they don't say anything else besides just go no contact. Going no contact with an emotional vampire is just the tip of the iceberg. Because first of all, they're going to become obsessed with you and stalk you and catch you even more for having the nerve to just reject them. And second, in many cases, we cannot go no contact. If you go to the same school, if you work at the same job, and it's not easy to change jobs, if you have children with this person, if this person is your mother or your father, good luck going no contact. So I realized that, hey, there is this problem that even science can sense that exists, but they don't really have anything to help us. Learning to rely on yourself and to honor your intuition is going to be profound in your development and your recovery and getting rid of all of that stuff. And because, like I said, I don't know what you believe, but I believe that reincarnation is real. If we don't work on this in this life, these people are going to be reincarnating with us for hundreds of years. I don't want that dead weight. I don't want it with me. I don't want it with you. And if you found my channel, I'm so sure that there are people that you have felt that their hatred towards you, their anger towards you is very disproportionate to what you did to them, usually a parent. In many cases, a parent in this life is some terrible person who has a lot of pent-up anger from many lifetimes ago. So you have to start working from somewhere. That's your starting point. I hope this video helped, and I'm going to continue uploading. Like I said, this channel is not monetized, so becoming a patron would greatly help me free time from my other channels to work here. So start working on what we said, and I'm going to be with you very soon. Thank you for watching.